Hear the hunger in my voice, they used to tell me to speak up. The problem was of what I was saying, they couldn't keep up. Instead of moving around with some patience, they tried to speed up. It got colder than a bitter bitch, found me a way to heat up. What's a favor for a favor if we all didn't make it? Kept it 100 with everybody, but they just gon' change. I ain't get caught up in the hype, cause I ain't feel like I made it. Couldn't picture me here now, but here's your moment to frame it. And I ain't never understand that self-entitlement spirit. I felt your vibe, I don't wanna get near it. Before I made the appearance, I took a second, took a look in the mirror. This God, Lord, the only thing that I fear. Y'all got me fucked up. It's all passion, it's tradition, it ain't fashion. There's no action, they make threats and it's still passive. I think massive, no respond, that's still tact. Y'all should quit rapping. Cheap shots, I'm cinematic. I ain't average, I'm an overthrow fanatic. How I go, you lose and win like asthmatics. I got first, that's automatic. I'm the best in my division. In the ghetto like the pigeons, in the hood like the engine. You a bird for that chicken. I don't fake split decisions cause my mind made up, nigga. We in the end of time, but my time ain't up. Now when I was young and running wild and wide-eyed like a cabbage patch, I had to get it as vivid, adapted to my habitat. It's certain shit I won't do, certain shit you can't prove. My shit sound like a payday, yours like more when the rent. If I had $1 for every dime you counted, I would be broke. Watch it be close, got a better chance, boxing the ghost. And they know I'm raw, and they know the squad, and I'm feeling large, still in charge. I don't make it follow, I follow the law. Standing tall like they hear on March. I just got a call from my bro, he behind the wall, he told me let it off. Niggas lying for some cat, I got a different line in me. Everybody intimidated, I got that guy in me. You get focused on them dimes, I'd rather keep my nine with me. Help me get this off the ground, just know you won't fly with me now.
I try to make the news, I ain't playing by the rules. I've been trying to play it cool, but that ain't gon' be the dozen. Y'all out here looking like fool. Home with the truth, I ain't never had to choose.
I'm trying to get beamed up, man, y'all trying to make the news. I ain't playing by the rules. I've been trying to play it cool, but that ain't gon' pay the bill. Y'all out here looking like fool. Home of the truth, y'all ain't never had to choose. Trying to get beamed up, man, y'all trying to make the news. I ain't playing by the rules. I've been trying to play it cool, but that ain't gon' pay the bill. Y'all out here looking like fool. Home of the truth, y'all ain't never had to choose. Trying to get beamed up.
Yeah. Cold shit. I ain't come with goons, but I'm well connected. Walk in the room is pop, 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 like you got rejected. Let me see if you qualify or not. Spinning up in a tinted truck, riding around your block. Busy man. I get a word, he ain't this shit from top to bottom like a motherfucking ceiling fan. Hopping out the rental van, on my way to LAX. Brothers out in Cali and they killers out of every set. But I ain't crippin' on no blood. One west, all my niggas got it out the mud. Put your face on a t-shirt, memory of niggas acting tough in them songs, that's the drugs. I don't need no cases, all my pistols clean. So now I weigh my options, used to use the triple beam. Used to get the wop, mix it with the nicotine. Now I travel state to state and put on for my team.
The fuck wrong with them? Ain't on my level, I should let my dog get them. I see niggas and they feelings, I don't feel them. Keep the Glocky with me, it was like a ball with them. Me at the end, I gotta stay patient. They hate me, Lord, I gotta stay dangerous. You one of them? Yeah. What's the problem? I'm one west, go to war with everybody. Cut the grass for the snake, fuck the gossip. Front line with them soldiers, that's my posture. Gun drawn, trying to curse the imposter. Shit get out the pocket, go to war with everybody, yeah. Send that hate, make it to the featherweights. Niggas claim they hard, but they sweeter than a debit cake. Hold on, think it's time to introduce. I'm a man and a beast and a step and a ruler. Hold on, and a G and a soldier and a mover. Hold on, and a killer and a prophet and a shooter, nigga. Trying to stay humble, my shit crazy. Cold leader, need the blue stripes, no brick bank. Can't be serious, you a funny boy, young fly. Look wrong, must be a dummy, I ain't gun shy. Fuck that little bitch, she a hook. Nigga swear he the go, bring him to the bush. The fuck wrong with him? Ain't on my level, I should let my dog get him. Niggas in their feelings, I don't feel them. Kid the Glocky with me, it was like a ball with him. Be at the end, gotta stay patient. They hate me, Lord, I gotta stay patient. You one of them? What's the problem? I'm one west, go to war with everybody.
I'm from Philly, it get hot, you catch a cold case. I'm one west, these brothers trying to set my soul straight. They done turned me to a prophet from a demon, and I'm locked in this shit and I ain't leaving. Never. Ski mask flash, transform the war mode like I'm Voltron. Stamp on my head and my chest from the most high. Put something tight around your neck like a bow tie. Got my niggas waiting charged up like they phone died.
Red letter, drip clean, it looks so fly. Claim me riding, that's why I left his ass roadside. He gon' die, skyscraper to a nosedive. 9mm plus P, fuck a 4-5. The fuck wrong with him? Ain't on my level, I should let my dog get him. I see niggas and they feelings all feel 'em. Kick the Glocky with me, it was like a ball with him. Be at the end, I gotta stay patient. They hate me, Lord, I gotta stay dangerous. You one of them? Yeah. What's the problem? I'm one west, go to war with everybody.
Hey, shout out to that. Shout out to congrats to the 2025 Hebrew Academy graduates.
That's right.
Yo, we here live. A little bit of a switch up this week. The captains are getting a much well-deserved break. And I'm here with Priest Kadawan.
Can you hear me?
Shaya Allah. Usually I'm behind the screen getting yelled at by Captain Zariat. Today we're holding it down while these brothers got some time to do whatever they're doing right now. You know what? That's we're up here in the building. I'm up here in headquarters. Where you at?
I'm at Austin, Texas, man. Can you hear me?
Shout out to that. How you feeling today, sir? How's everything down there?
I'm too wild, man. Hopefully I get some bodies. The Lord deliver me some bodies today. That's all I kind of worry about right now.
That's what we're waiting for. We want some smoke. That's what we're raised up by the men that y'all watch every week to want the same smoke. And that's why we got this title. What did I title this show tonight? Christians hate the Bible, Jesus is not God, and Karmelo and free Karmelo. So let's see who we got. Do we have anybody on the phone yet? Not yet. Nobody in the queue yet. Click the link is in the chat. Click the link in the chat. The phone number's on the screen as always. You know, if you're gonna come on screen with your clothes on. If you're gonna come on phone, no foul language, please. But bring all the smoke. Bring all your silly doctrines. Bring whatever goofiness you got this week. Because you know, in the meantime, we're just gonna talk about how ridiculous Shannon Sharp is. And how all you demons are out there mad at Carmelo Anthony for doing exactly what he should have done to that devil that ran up on him. Do you have anything you wanted to add, sir?
I mean, not really. I mean, what you titled it? The Christians hate the Bible. Jesus is not God. Oh my goodness. You know how long I've been battling that one? That right there, man. That must be the Christian meta right now. That must be. They must think it's some new thing. They must think the Trinity is some new thing. I think after they sin, and this, I kid you not, this is what happens, right? When Captain Tazari killed God Logic, right, and I start debating more and more people, they come with the exact same arguments all the time. The same argument, the same arguments they always pull up, and it's kind of crazy. It's ironic because they don't understand when they dead. Captain Tazari killed God Logic, and they still trying to use the same exact argument. It makes my job easy, really easy.
Because all we got to do is say the same things he said, give the same breakdowns that we were taught. It's still true. Y'all still can't defeat it. All you Christians out there, the title is damn near the same every week because it's the same story every week. Y'all call in and you still hate the scriptures. You hate the real teachings of Christ. And you just cling to these religions so that your pastor can keep hustling you, your priest can keep molesting your kids. We're trying to spare y'all and save y'all from that. That's all we're trying to do. So let's see. We got somebody in the queue now.
Okay, most on Christ.
Calling himself Christ is Lord. What's up, Christ is Lord?
Peace, y'all. Peace and blessings.
Hey, peace. What's going on, brother?
Shalom, brother. How you doing?
Yeah, shalom. Yeah, I'm a Christian, and I just have a couple questions.
Fire away.
You guys teach that the Gentiles, for some reason, can't make it to the kingdom?
The Gentiles will make it to the kingdom. They will just be slaves in the kingdom. They'll be servitude. The Gentiles you're referring to in the Bible, in the New Testament's context, you got the Gentiles, that's the scattered children of Israel. Then you got Gentiles who don't get salvation, which will be non-ethnic Israelites.
Yeah. Do you have evidence of that claim?
Of course. What do you want me to prove?
Well, can you show that in the New Testament
About what?
that these so-called other nations can't be saved?
You have a scripture showing that they can be? I don't know what you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
of course. I got plenty of scriptures.
right.
Let's go to well, let's actually go to the end of the movie. Let's go to Revelations.
Let's go.
And let's go to chapter 21.
Go ahead, bring
And
what you got.
yeah, one sec, sorry. Okay, and it says verse 24. And the nations of them, these are the Gentiles, correct?
What verse you at? Go ahead, read. What verse you at?
Verse 24. These are the Gentiles, the other nations,
Go ahead.
correct?
Let me get there with you. Verse 23. And I saw no temple there in the Lord God Almighty. The Lamb are the temple of it, and the nations of them which are saved shall walk in the light of it.
Whoa,
and the
whoa, whoa,
kings of
whoa,
the
hold on.
Hold on, read
They're
it.
saved.
Hold up, brother.
Okay, go ahead.
Hold up. I'm reading it. Right?
All
And
right,
the
come
nations of them which are saved shall walk in the light of it, and the kings of the earth do bring their glory and honor into it. So my question for you is this: what is the saved? What is saved
Well,
to you?
first, all right, hold on. First, let's deal with you claiming they aren't saved, and the Bible's clearly saying they are. So let's deal with that. Why is the Bible clearly saying, no debating, that the Gentiles shall be saved? And you said that there is no salvation for them. Can you clear that mess up a little?
Yeah, what is salvation to you?
It means that their names are written in the Lamb's Book of Life, brother.
What scripture are you referencing?
Brother, do you agree being saved is being written in the Lamb's Book of Life?
Bring the scriptures out, man. We don't want to hear paraphrasing
No.
and all
Hey,
that.
look, brother, I'm just hold up.
Brother, you
Hold up.
asked me what do I think saved is, and I'm answering you.
This is what I'm trying to tell you, brother. I'm trying to walk with you, right? Because
Okay.
me and you don't agree. We don't agree. What
No. You don't agree with what the Bible
We're gonna
says.
have to mute you. We're gonna have to mute you.
Okay,
right?
here's the magic mute button. All right.
Oh yeah, it's magic for a reason. We have the authority. We love
Okay.
it. All
I
right.
know.
All right. And the verse you pull, the statement that you're making is that all nations get saved, right?
No, that's the verse that I'm reading, brother. Reading it.
Okay. The verse you're reading.
Correct.
Prove to me that these nations are everybody. Are you saying because it says nations, this is everybody? That's what you're saying?
No, brother, that is the other nations. That's 100%.
That's what I'm saying. Prove it. Go ahead, prove it.
Prove that okay, hold on. You're asking me to prove in Revelations 21:24 that those nations are other people besides Israel?
Yeah. Okay, let me I got short time. I got a lot of
Because that's basic. That's basic knowledge, brother.
Hold up. I got short patience, right? So I'm just going ahead and just break it down for you. You read up the verse in 21. What is it talking about?
Read verse 20.
Read verse 12.
Read verse 12. Okay. And the 12. Wait. Okay. Hold on. Because this is the one about the names. Like this is the infamous one West nonsense. And had a wall great and high, and had 12 gates, and the gates 12 angels, and the names written on them were which are the names of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel. What's your point?
Which were the names of the what?
On the gates, the names of the 12 tribes of Israel. What's your point?
How come these gates don't have the names of everybody, every race, every nationality on the planet Earth? How come they're the 12 tribes?
What does that have to do with the nations being saved in verse 24, though?
Because I'm helping you get that. This is the same chapter, right? Is it not?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So why does it not have every single name on it? Why only the 12 tribes?
Because it's symbolic to the promise that God made Abraham, which was through.
Wait. So what you're saying is that there's no 12 gates. This scripture right here, verse 12. You're saying that?
No, brother. what I'm saying is in Genesis 12:3, God promised Abraham that through Israel all nations of the earth shall be blessed, and this is the exact same language how the movie ends. So in Genesis 12:3, Genesis 18:18, Genesis 24:6, and so on and so on, God promises Abraham that through Israel all families, to quote it word for word, all families
What does
of
that
the
have?
earth shall
Okay,
be blessed.
I'm trying
All
to
right,
walk
hold
with
on,
you.
hold on.
What does that have to?
Okay.
Hold up. What does that have to do with my question in Revelations 21 and 12? I asked you, how come it doesn't have all names of every nation? Is of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel? Hey, can y'all check if my mic, if they can hear? They say my mic is low. Can they check if my mic is not low?
Let me see. Your mic should be good. I can turn it up a little bit.
All right.
Sounds good. Sounds good over here.
All right, cool. All right.
Yep. So
All right, go
what's your
ahead.
point, brother? Get
I can
to
ask
your
you a
point,
question.
because it's nonsense.
How is it nonsense while I'm asking you a question?
Because what
Are
does
you a
it have
brother?
to do?
Wait, hold
Because
up.
listen. What does it have to do?
Hold up. You sound like a brother. Hold up. You asking me what does it have to do? Just answer the question. I asked you a question. You called him to the
Correct.
show. You should
Yes,
have been prepared. You called him to the show, right?
brother.
So
Prepared. You've already cut, brother, twice.
hold up, man. Calm down. Or we're going to mute you. We're going to mute you.
Oh,
Calm down, man.
scary cats.
You gotta stop being emotional, man.
Okay.
All right. Revelation 21 and 12 is this simple. And had a wall great and high, and had 12 gates, and at the gates 12 angels,
Correct.
and the names written thereon, which are the names of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel.
Calm, brother.
Why
Got
is
you.
it only Israel? All right, go ahead.
I told you that, brother, because according to the promise to Abraham, all families of the earth will be blessed through Israel. Simple. Now, what's your point, brother?
How does that answer that right there? So you said, so what you're
Because,
saying when
brother, you're running. Okay.
hold up. No, man, you gotta calm down.
Okay.
We got a lot of time, man. We got the whole stream going on, man. Nobody running from nothing. I'm right here. I'm trying to walk with you. You brought up Revelations 21. I brought up Revelations 21 and 23. I asked you a question. Or 24. No, you brought up Revelation 21, 24. The same chapter we in talk about the kingdom of heaven with the 12 gates. I asked you, why is there 12 gates and not all of them are different names of different nations, right? Why are there 12 tribes of Israel? And what did
Correct.
you bring up? Do you want to go through it?
No, brother, because you went here because you got
Hold
knocked
up, you
out.
brought up.
Brother, can I answer?
Hold up. Hey,
Please?
Aisha, I'm glad to meet you, brother.
Yeah, all right, okay, run, brother, run.
All right, you're confident in what you believe in. Just stop being so emotional. We're gonna get to it, man. All right, you good? You calm down?
Are you done running?
Go ahead. Brother, are you good? You calm down?
Yeah, listen.
Okay,
You
go ahead.
claim, all right, ready? You made the claim that the nations can't be saved. I destroyed that pathetic doctrine when I told you in 21:24, those nations get saved literally. So you ran to try to pull some magic trick to go to the 12 gates with the 12 angels, which makes no sense, because if you read you read verse 22, it tells you those gates never close, they're always open. And the reason why they're open is so the nations that are saved can walk through the gates. It's simple and plain, brother. So if you want to go to Genesis 12:3 and make it worse, then let's go to Genesis 12:3.
Okay, no, this is why I'm saying this is why you're wrong. When I go into Revelation, since you said we're going to the Revelation, the end of the story. Revelation 19 and 15 says this, and out of his mouth goes a sharp sword, that with it he shall smite the nations.
Correct.
And he shall rule them with a rod of iron. And he threadeth the winepress of the fierceness and the wrath of the Almighty God.
Correct.
So you talking
And
about all
what's your
this
point?
nation, which, oh my goodness, brother, can you read? Can you comprehend?
Brother, there's a remnant saved
Hold
of
up.
all nations, including Israelites. There's
Hold
a
up.
remnant saved of all nations, brother. That's simple.
Can you comprehend? Okay, so now your argument you're making right here. First, you said Revelation 21, at the verse above the 12 gates is symbolic. That's the first thing you
No, I
said.
didn't say that, brother. I didn't say that.
No,
I said
thank God we
it
got
was,
live. You said it was symbolic. That's what you said. It
brother,
was symbolic.
I said it was a promise God made to Abraham in Genesis 12:3 that through Israel, all families of the earth shall be blessed. That's what I told you. And the blessing was inheritance of the kingdom.
Which proves what?
That if you're blessed by God, like God said, all the nations will be blessed, you receive inheritance of the kingdom.
Okay,
Christ said that.
Okay, so now I get you. What you're saying is proving my point. The first thing you asked me is this: can nations be in the kingdom of heaven? That's what you asked me. And what I said yes. As what?
Correct.
As servants. Which
Correct.
just proves this is a horrible chapter to go to because it proves my point. If I go to Isaiah 14.
All right.
I don't even know why would you set me up like this. I knew when I joined this, I know the Lord was going to send me an alley-oop. You just have to be the first body. To be the first body I caught.
Okay.
It says, "For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land. And the strangers." So you believe the strangers shall be joined unto them, right?
Yes.
Oh my goodness. You said yes?
Yes, brother.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, get
They shall cleave into the house of Jacob. So the strangers shall cleave into the house of Jacob, right?
Yes, brother.
And the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them. What it means to possess somebody?
To own them, to have them.
Okay. So, okay, I'm going to keep it going. It gets worse. The Israel shall possess them the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids, and they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. So that's why listening. What Captain Zarek say? Captain Zarek say?
Listening is art. We already heard that nonsense.
Listening is art. When you ask me this question, this verse says what I said in the beginning, and we want nations to be in the kingdoms because we want servants. That's what the Bible say.
Okay.
God damn. I mean,
That's it.
Oh my goodness. I knew the Lord was going to send the alley-oop.
Okay. All right.
I try to make it easier for you. I tried to too. I try to deal with you.
Now, brother, are you ready for the shot block? Because that was total craziness, the lie that you just told.
Okay, first of all, you keep calling us brother. Can I ask what your ethnicity is?
Brother, don't even worry about that, brother. Don't even worry about
that. I know.
I'm darker than you, brother. I'm darker than you. So anyway,
why not just say that?
All right, so listen.
No, hold on. No. I want you. Isaiah 14:1 and 2. Do you agree there will be slaves to the children of Israel in the kingdom of heaven?
Brother, what I believe is you purposely didn't read verse 4 because verse 4 tells you that already happened, brother.
No, hold up.
That already happened. Read verse 4.
Before we move on. Move on.
Same chapter, verse 4.
Do you agree? The verse says in 1 and 2.
Correct.
That the children of Israel will have slaves in the kingdom of heaven.
Nope. That's 100% wrong, brother. Because that's not talking about the kingdom of heaven. That's talking about the Babylonian captivity that was superseded by King Cyrus. If you read verse 4, it says, take this prophecy up with the king of Babylon. And I'm going to prove to you that already happened. Israel left Babylon with servants and handmaids. Let's go to Ezra chapter 2. Bro, you guys need way more studying, bro. Ezra chapter 2, and let me show you chapter 2, verse 1.
Right.
Now, these are the...
Hold up.
Okay.
This is crazy.
No, your breakdown was nuts.
Hold up.
This breakdown was straight, plain, and simple. And you've been here leaning on assumptions this whole time that you haven't been able to prove.
Well, let's read the Bible. Because you went to Isaiah. Hold on, wait, just 1 second.
Hold up, man. Hold up. I'm not gonna let you run from this. This is not. You have to sit. You have to just like I killed you in the scripture that you on pull.
Yeah, you killed me. Okay.
We went to Isaiah 14 and 1
and butchered it.
Okay, I want your breakdown on it right here. Stay right here. Just stay right here with me.
Yep.
For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob.
Correct. That's verse 1.
And will yet choose Israel. What does that mean?
Read verse 4, brother. It tells you.
What does that mean? Come on now.
Brother, That's what happens when they leave Babylonian captivity. You're terrified to read verse 4. Just read verse 4, or I'll read it. Okay, ready? Hold on. Verse 4.
Right here. No, we're right here. It's literally in the next verse. I'm trying to give you the opportunity. Right here. For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob and will
Correct.
yet choose Israel.
Correct, brother.
And set them in their own land.
Correct, brother. Yes.
Right.
It already happened. Ready? Verse 4.
Prove it.
Verse 4. That you shall take up this proverb against the king of Babylon. Because when you read the book of Isaiah, this is about the Babylonian captivity. Now, let me prove it to you in the book of Ezra when they return out of Babylonian captivity with their servants and handmaids. Let's go to Ezra chapter 2, brother. It's simple. This is basic Bible. Ezra 2, KJV. Hold on one second. Hold on, because I don't have a Bible on me. This is all off the top of my head. All right. Verse 1. Now these are the children. Now remember, in the book of Isaiah, you claim that's the kingdom of heaven. Bro, that's Babylonian captivity, 500 something BC.
Are you reading the verse?
Okay, but hold on. Verse 4 told you, take this up with the king of Babylon. So now let's read what happened.
Hold up.
Hold on.
I'm talking about this. You making this statement saying that I'm gonna get you correct. You're saying that this happened already, right?
Yes, they already returned out of Babylon and were put in their own land with servants and handmaids.
On Isaiah 14:3.
Correct, brother. Yes, and I'm gonna read it to you.
No, Isaiah 14:3, because you skipped down to verse 4. So you're saying this already happens already, right?
Correct, brother, for the fourth time. Yes.
I'm pretty sure you could prove it, right? Verse 3 says, and it shall come to pass in the day of the Lord, in the day that the Lord shall give thee rest.
Correct.
From thy sorrow and from thy fear and from the hard bondage where thou was made to serve. Did that happen yet?
Read verse 4, brother, please.
Did that happen yet?
Yeah, brother, I'm telling you, yes, for the fifth time. I'm telling you.
Prove it.
Okay, verse 4 that you're terrified to read tells you, take this message to the king of Babylon, because they're in Babylonian captivity. Now let's read when they leave. Ezra chapter 2, verse 1. Now these are the children of the promise that went up out of the captivity, which had been carried away with Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, that had carried away unto Babylon, and they came back again to Jerusalem and Judah, every one unto his city. It names all the Israelites that came back, and watch where it ends. This already happened, brother. Nice try. And it says this. Hold on. Besides their servants and handmaids.
This cat's going all around the world to get nowhere.
Nah, brother. It's called precept upon precept, brother. Precept upon precept. Now, verse 65 says, the whole congregation was 42,303 score. Verse 65, besides Israel's servants and their handmaids, of whom there were 7,335 and 7, and there were among them 200 singing men, singing women. I know your precept package doesn't teach you this, but Isaiah 14 already occurred. What else do you got, brother? Nice try. Nice try.
Isaiah, hold up.
Nice try, brother.
Hold up. Where was all of Israel at? Where was Gad at during the time you just showed?
Brother, whoever Babylon scooped up.
Hold up. No, because this says, for I will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land. So you're saying that Israel is only a couple tribes, not all tribes?
Brother, hold
up. Show me where the northern kingdom returned to Israel.
Okay, hold on.
Because this happened already, right? Good night.
No, it's not good night. Get your blanket ready. Second Chronicles 9.
To everybody on the phone lines and in the back, we're gonna get to y'all as soon as this guy breathes his last breath.
I'm breathing my last.
You got more people in the back? You got more people calling in too?
Yeah, we got about 4 people waiting.
We're gonna give him about 30 seconds because he's not gonna find it. Show me.
Yes, I am. Hold on.
Find where the northern kingdom came back. Show me that. Show me when they returned to Israel.
You know the scripture that everybody's calling for, that immediately cuts them up. I just wanted to see how long we could last before we get to Isaiah 60 and 10.
Okay, ready. So all Israel, this is First Chronicles verse 9, night time, woolly head, light skinned dude. So all Israel were reckoned by genealogies, and behold, they were written in the book of the king of Israel and Judah, king of Israel and Judah, who were carried away to Babylon for their transgression. And Jerusalem dwelt of the children of Judah and the children of Benjamin and of, here comes the headshot, loser boy, the children of Ephraim and Manasseh. What else you got? Basic boy.
This is what happens when you start struggling. You get emotional, start throwing
Nah,
names
you
out.
just got your head cut. You just got cut. That's northern and
Still
southern.
have not made your point.
Northern and southern. What else you got,
You're
brother?
floundering, your name calling, and you still haven't
Because
made
you just
your
got caught, bro. You just got caught in a lie. Northern and southern left from Babylon. What?
Are you tired of them yet?
Hold up. Okay, I'm gonna give it one.
You mean have you been cutting up?
No, we're gonna cut his timeline off. We're gonna cut.
I know, cut it because you just got smashed by a Christian.
No, hold up. No, you just can't comprehend, and you're a liar. That's all.
Okay. You just got smashed.
I just showed you. I just asked this. Show me where all of Israel went back. Did you name all of Israel,
brother? So all Israel, verse 1.
Hold up, mute him.
Yeah, mute me. Okay.
He just named specific tribes. You did not answer my question. And Isaiah 14 and 1 and 2, it's the same thing is mentioned in Isaiah 60 and 10. And the sons, I'll go to verse 9. Surely the isles shall wait for me, and the ships of Tarshish first, to bring thy son from far, they silver and their gold with them, unto the name of the Lord thy God, and to the Holy One of Israel, because he had glorified thee. And the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls, and their kings shall minister unto thee. For in my wrath I smote thee, but in my favor have I had mercy on thee. So I guess to him, but in Revelation he said it was the 12, the gates of the kingdom of heaven. What it was it was symbolic. Are you kidding me?
Then we got gates right here in verse 11. Therefore thy gates shall be open continually. They shall not be shut day nor night, that men may bring unto thee the forces of the Gentiles, and that their kings may be brought. Christians try to understand the Bible without understanding the Old Testament, without understanding the history, and then they try and wrap what pieces of the Old Testament they take around their breakdowns, and it just don't work. But let's see who we got. Who is this? Jewelry? What's up, brother?
Yeah, what's up with it, man? Y'all can hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you all right. You got a question?
Hey, Shalom, man. Peace and blessings. All I'm saying,
Shalom,
I was more so, I didn't know if y'all wanted to smoke. I'm really not trying to trip out the smoke. I'm really going at the brother that was, y'all see me firing these little scriptures off, bro, because bro don't know that's a dual prophecy, bro. Like, there's parts of that that has been fulfilled, and there's parts of that scripture in Isaiah 14 that hasn't been fulfilled. Just like Isaiah 53, before, if we was living with Isaiah, right, we can't say that the whole thing been fulfilled, right? Because the OT onlys, they'll be like, oh, yeah, that's King David, or that's Hezekiah, right? But we know he ain't, that person, that individual hasn't been bring like a lamb to the slaughter, right? So we know there's no one's ever died or even been pure enough to die for the sins of Israel, feel me? So even then, that was a dual prophecy. And even when we read the New Testament, this is the thing I want a lot of people to know.
Hey, brother, my bad, brother. Where you calling from? What's your name and you calling from? I don't know if I caught it.
Yeah, I'm calling from Oakland, man. I'm
okay, cool.
Brother Jewelry.
All right.
Yeah, I believe in the death, burial, and the resurrection. I believe that I'm an Israelite from the tribe of Judah, right?
Mm-hmm.
I get all of that. You feel me? My end time prophecy might be a little different than y'all, but you feel me? I done had talks with, I be on Clubhouse, feel me, every day to Zaryak, everybody, you feel me? So I ain't really calling for the smoke. I just want the dude who just called in, you feel me, to know that there are a lot of different prophecies you really got to focus on when it comes to dual fulfillment. And I don't even like using that word because I deal with a lot of preterists every day. But when you think about Isaiah 53, and even the New Testament, nobody that was in the New Testament had a New Testament. So I just wanted to articulate one situation, but
Okay,
if y'all
brother.
want to smoke, you can pass me and I can come back later. We could chop
Yeah,
it.
brother. All right, we appreciate you. You can just stay in the. You can stay in the.
Yeah.
Stay in the
Go ahead
queue.
and get the
Yeah.
smoke because I don't want to
Yeah.
lose. You feel me? The momentum. Yeah.
All right, brother. You know, go to the phone lines real quick.
Okay.
Let's see what we got over here. 925.
925. What's your name? Where you calling from? Can they hear us? 925. Oh, I can't.
925.
Probably got to come off mute. If you on mute, you probably got to come off mute.
925. No, we'll come back to you.
Yeah, let's go next one.
Let's see who else we got back here. Big Wolf. What's up, Big Wolf?
Hey, shalom, Lord in Christ.
Shalom, Lord Christ.
Yeah, I just wanted to push a scripture through to the dude. I don't think he's a brother. I think he sounds like an Edomite, first of all, you know what I'm saying? And Hebrew 9:15. Once you read that, you know what I mean, his whole doctrine will be crushed, you know what I mean? And it says, for this cause, he is the mediator for the New Testament, by means of death, the redemption of the transgression that were under the First Testament. So you just got to ask him, like, who was under the First Testament? You know what I mean? It wasn't all nations, for sure. You know what I mean? It was just Israel. You know what I mean? They which are called might receive the promise of eternal inheritance. You talk about blessings. This is a promise.
Hey, my bad,
You
bro.
know what I mean?
My bad, bro. What's your name? Where you calling from again?
Yeah, I'm from North Carolina.
All right.
Yeah.
You had a question?
Yeah.
You had a question or a comment?
No, I just wanted to bring out Hebrews 9:15. That's all. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah, we're gonna try to get a lot of these questions out the way, though, if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure.
Put you back in the queue. All right.
Are you in the school, brother?
Khan.
Okay, most high in
Christ,
Christ.
brother.
All right, let's
All right, just to make a mark. Hey, if you have a question, and when you come up here, if you don't mind, have a question or a comment. I think we got a lot of people in the back channel just trying to come up, or the queue trying to come up. So if you have a question or a comment, we could deal with it. All right.
We got another caller. We got 575.
What's going on, brother? Shalom.
Hey, shalom, brother. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, brother. Can you hear us?
Hello?
Can you hear us, brother? Can you hear me?
Hello?
We can hear you just fine, brother.
Okay. No, I'm listening, and they always want to bring that about the blessing.
Hold up, brother. Can you hear
But
us?
the part he didn't, like he was telling you about
Brother.
why you want to read verse 4.
Brother, can you hear us?
Brother, why did you didn't say the other half and talk about the blessing? When they talk about Abraham, they gonna be blessed to us. The criteria is that they gotta bless us first, and that's how they gonna get to be blessed. Ain't nobody blessing us. That ain't going down. Everybody crushing us. Don't nobody like us or none of this. I don't know what this dude talking about.
All right, brother. Can you hear me, brother?
When you read that about the Abraham, the nation should be blessed by the children of Israel, the criteria, they got to bless us first. Then he went, hello? Okay. But yeah, that's the part he didn't want to read. And then he talking about the this prophecy for Babylon. Man, Babylon is a twofold meaning when you read that. That's about the Babylon up to date. America is Babylon. Man, it's so crazy because you got people on the planet Earth and took our identity, our homeland, and everything. We're not in our own land. The Most High gonna do that. Not King Cyrus. Man, it's these people right here.
Yeah, that guy was just a nut, man. But
hey, Aisha, can you hear me?
You have a question, brother?
Hey, Aisha, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Nah, man, I was just coming. I like to, I like watching y'all brothers do y'all thing, and add many bodies that y'all can, like Tazariak say. I get a good laugh when y'all be biting them dudes up.
I appreciate you, brother.
I appreciate you, brother. All right, man.
Hey, Aisha, can you check if they can hear me? I don't think they can hear me on my side with the people who's calling in.
Don't think they can hear? Oh,
yeah,
damn, that happens sometimes.
Okay.
Let me see. Let me see if I can. Damn. Forgot about that. Shout out to the new member. Shout out to Officer Kawaki in Brooklyn. The new member of the channel. Most High Christ. Let's see. Well, let's get this nut out of the way. I know if anonymous caller's got to be some type of nut. What's going on, man?
Yeah, this is into response to the BW who said that only Israelites were under the old covenant. This is proof in Deuteronomy 29:11.
What's your name?
Were under the old covenant.
Hey, can you hear me?
And it says,
Can you hear the other brother or only me?
Can you hear me?
Just you.
Just me?
Can we fix this somehow?
Yeah.
All right, let me see what I can do.
Yeah,
I know we've had this problem in the past when Cap joins remotely with the phone lines. I'm not sure if there's anything we can do about it. Let me see. Oh, you know what you can do? Call the phone number.
Call the phone number.
Call the phone number, and then I'll tap you in that way.
What's the number? The 917-779-9499?
No, not you. The brother that's on the stream with me, because you can't hear him right now.
917. What's the number? Let me see. Call it.
Come on, Restream has been a solid platform for us, but y'all got to fix this. Y'all got to fix this, Restream.
Okay, wait. I think it's working now. Can they hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Just hang tight for a second.
No problem.
Now, where are you calling from anyway?
Me from Yonkers, from New York.
You said from Yonkers? Okay.
Yeah.
Just a second. All right, let's see if this works.
All right. Can you hear me?
All right, go ahead. You can start over, caller.
Okay, yeah. This is in response to the BW guy who said that only Israel was under the first covenant. In the book of Deuteronomy 29, it tells you all people were. It says, verse 9, keep therefore the words of this covenant and do them that you may prosper in all that you do. You stand this day, all of you, before the Lord your God, your captains of your tribes, these are Israelites, your elders, your officers, with all the men of Israel, your little ones and your wives, and thy stranger that is in thy camp. Now, you can't say these are Israelite strangers because they just left Egypt. So that's the mixed multitude that was all different people were under the first covenant. So the BW dude that sounded like a Hamite, he's 100% wrong. All people were under the old covenant, not just the Israelites.
Why do you think you can't say they're Israelite strangers?
Because to be a stranger is to be somewhere that's not your land. The first time the word stranger is used is when Israel is in Egypt.
Wait, hold up.
Strangers in Egypt.
Can you hear me?
This is in their land.
Yeah, we can hear you.
So any Israelite, any Israelite that's in their land is not a stranger.
He's just trying to talk over.
Hey, hold up. You made a statement. You said a stranger is somebody.
I can't hear him, brother. Who?
You can't hear me?
There's a second person?
You still can't hear him?
Oh man, this gotta get fixed.
Is he speaking now?
Hold up.
You hear me?
Can you hear me? I heard somebody.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
You can hear me?
You can hear me? Yes, sir.
All right. So you had made a statement. You had said, what was the stranger?
It said, that all Israel stood before the Lord, all the men of Israel,
No, I said you
with
said
their
what?
captains.
You said what was a stranger?
The stranger was the mixed multitude that left with Israel.
You made a statement saying that the stranger was somebody with 9 of land.
No. What I said, a stranger is when you're in a foreign land, you're considered a stranger. The term stranger is first used describing Israel being strangers in the land of Egypt. But if you're an Israelite and you're in your own land, you're not a stranger, brother.
So that's the only time it could be used?
Well, I mean, do you have proof otherwise?
I mean, you were so confident what you said. You sure about that?
Brother, I'm confident in the fact.
Hey, wait, is this the same brother?
Hold
up. Is this the same brother that was called earlier?
No, this is cousin.
Hey, this is a reverb. Aisha, can you fix that?
I can't really hear you too well. You're echoing on my end.
Okay, they say on reverb. We gotta get that.
Yeah, but I'm confident in Deuteronomy 29 that they're strangers under the covenant. That's 100%.
Hey, let me ask you something real quick. Why did you call in with an anonymous phone number?
Because after I smoked you the first round, you dropped me off.
That's what I just said that. Hey, they say you said I can't do nothing about this reverb.
Yeah, but I think it's only because you were
Is it better? Is it better? Is it better now?
Yeah, it's 12 now.
Okay, cool. Hey, you made a statement right here, right? This is Psalm 69:8. It says, I am become a stranger unto my brethren, and an alien unto my mother's children. Now, oh my goodness. Was David an Israelite?
Salakia. What'd you say?
He can't. He left?
Oh, no, I'm muting him because it was the same nut from earlier.
Oh my goodness. All right. Can you? So I don't know.
You want to bring him back?
Can you just make sure, like, when the people get on, in case they can't hear me because we have some difficulties, just make sure they got a question or a comment. We don't want nobody up in here just trying to do what they do. All right. Let's just have somebody get a question or a comment and just move them out. All right.
Got you.
All right.
Let's see who we got. We got 469.
(469). What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hello. Yo.
Can you hear us? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got 469.
Yo, can you hear me?
We can barely hear you.
Okay, hold on. Let me try to fix it. What about now?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Can you hear me, brother?
All right. How y'all doing? Shalom. Peace and blessings to you, brothers.
What's your name? Where you calling from, brother?
I don't know if y'all can hear me good. But I had a question as a brother who
can you hear me?
Studying. Yeah, I heard you just now.
Okay, cool. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Good. My name's Ja. I'm calling out of Dallas, but I'm from New Orleans.
Okay.
I was calling with a few questions. Yeah, I had a few
All
questions. First, I wanted to make the statement. I do appreciate you, brothers, the Hebrew Israelite movement. I do appreciate what you guys doing around the world and whatnot. But my question was regarding a few things that trouble me as a student of the Bible. It seems like I can't get anybody to answer these questions when talking about scripture. And I've had a few talks with some Hebrew Israelite brothers, and instead of getting clarity on these questions, I always get into confrontations. So I was introduced to this channel to see if I can get some answers to these questions. I was told you brothers would be willing to answer. First, I wanted to start with the general question with who do you guys consider the authors of the Bible? Let's start with the Torah, the first 5 books.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
All right, cool. Can you repeat that question, brother? And tell me if I sound good.
Yeah, you
And
sound.
can they hear me online too?
What's up?
So can they hear me good online? I have mute my mic.
Yeah, they can hear you online. All right. I'm checking everything right now.
All right, cool. I'll go ahead, brother. My bad.
Nah, you good. So my question was, who do you guys consider the authors of the books of the Bible? We can start with the first five.
Like men?
I'm sorry.
Men?
Yeah, like the authors.
Yeah.
Like if I was let me give you context on my question.
Mm-hmm.
So being an individual born on this planet, a conscious individual who is aware of my surroundings and the society I live in, I understand that there are individuals who seek to control, destroy, you know what I'm saying, and manipulate, right? So since I know that, that's a fact that I'm growing up with, I have to be conscious of everything that I entertain, right? So the Bible being a book that is, famous for its teachings and whatnot, is a book that also can be and has been manipulated, used to control and destroy people's lives. So me being a student and using what the Bible says, study to show myself approved, one thing I have to ask myself is who wrote the books that I'm reading. So
just to answer, I think the root of your question is not that who wrote the Bible. It's just your belief in that everything is correct. It's not been manipulated, right? Basically.
Well, no. My question is, who do you guys hold to as far as the knowledge that you have? Because as far as I know, you guys hold this book to be a lot of it to be literal, right?
What you mean by that? What you mean a lot of it by literal?
Literal meaning you guys hold the book to be actual history that you are a part of.
Okay. And you don't?
No, I'm asking you a question. You didn't answer my question.
No, I'm just trying to follow you. You said that.
My question is, do you guys hold the Bible to be a book of literalism, literal truths that, for example, your genealogy can be followed if you were able to follow it. You guys hold to be true that your genealogy could be followed to Christ, to Jesus Christ, or Yeshua Christ.
Oh, not everybody's. Christ is a Judite. Not everybody's from the tribe of Judah.
Okay, but your genealogy can be followed to his genealogy, right? To Jacob, right?
Well, Jacob is not Christ.
Well, but Christ comes from Jacob's lineage. But are you following what I'm asking?
I'm trying to. I think I got it. I think I got it now. Meaning that when you keep saying literal, it's throwing me off, brother.
Mm-hmm.
So you saying literal, then you bring up about do we trace our lineage back to Jesus Christ?
Mm-hmm.
And you said about Jacob. So we do believe. I asked you correctly. We do believe we're Israelites.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah, we take that literal. When you say literal, when I'm taking it how you say literal, it's like when I also use that. Man, this reverb's crazy. When I say literal, right? 1 second. When I'm saying literal, meaning that some things in the Bible are literal, but some things are a metaphor. It means to prove a point of something else.
Okay.
Right? So Christ talking parables to prove a point on what he was trying to teach, to convey to the people. So when you say it like that, that's what I'm taking it as. But you're asking, the first part you asked me was, who wrote the Bible?
Right.
Right. So when you live your day-to-day life and how you live your life, do you ever question about who wrote your science book? Or whatever book you read or the knowledge you believe in?
Yes, of course.
So when you was in school and you learn how to do math, you're like, hey,
hold on.
Who wrote this book?
Hold on. As an unlearned man, I didn't. As a kid, I didn't. But I'm not a kid anymore. As an adult, like I said, I'm from the streets. You know, and that's not something I'm bragging on. That's just saying I have lived a life that led me to equip a lot of street knowledge, which is very important if you want to survive in this society. And as a person with street knowledge, questioning these things, I questioned these things as I got older. And now being an older...
So what's your street knowledge got to do with this, what we on right now?
Okay, as an adult, I've learned
Hey,
that I should question. Hold on, I'm answering your question.
Hold on.
Let me answer your question.
I got a follow-up question. Hold on. You said your street knowledge, right? This street
Hold on,
knowledge
let me answer your first
like...
question. I don't want to change the goalpost.
Hold up, brother. Come on, man.
Okay,
don't do that.
never mind. Look, hey, I'm a guest on your show, right?
Okay, yes, I know.
So I don't want, and I'm telling you how to communicate with me. I don't want to confuse my thoughts.
Come on,
Okay, never mind. Go ahead.
Okay. So listen. So all I'm asking is this: you said your street smarts made you question certain things. That's why you're saying who wrote the Bible, right? Now, once I tell you who wrote the Bible, what is that going to change for you?
That's going to help me track the validity of the story. That's going to help me, like the other individual that called a few minutes before me, who was telling you that the prophecies that you guys hold to be true already happened.
Hey, Shalom,
I can track that with that knowledge. I can track. You know, if you tell me, hey, brother, this the individual who we hold to wrote the Bible, so I can say, okay, these brothers who, if I believe what they believe, I am them, right? So to do my due diligence, I have to track how they came across the knowledge. So in order for me to do my due diligence, I have to know who wrote the very scriptures we hold to be true. You know what I'm saying? So if I go do that, I should be able to find truth. Nobody should be trying to sway me away from doing that, because if an individual is trying to sway me away from checking out the history of the book that I'm reading, the knowledge that they're trying to present to me, then that means something is off the chain of custody.
I think Cap is online.
Hey, shalom, Captain Kadazar.
Hey, shalom. You should break thumb. What's going down?
How's everything with you, sir? Shalom, Shakata.
What's going on, man?
Oh, you know, just the usual lineup of Christians talking themselves in circles.
What we talking about?
Right now, we got a brother right now talking about you want to know who wrote the Bible, who wrote certain books of the Bible.
What book?
That's pretty much it.
Hey, brother, you can hear me?
Oh, let me. There you go. He can hear you now.
You can hear me now?
I can hear everybody.
So what book? You know, what book you want to know the author?
Hold on, brother.
Brother, I'm asking you a question. They just introduced you. But who are you? What's your name?
Thank you, brother. I'm a man. You're talking to a man, brother. Let me introduce myself.
I don't know what us got to be a man got to do with anything. That's a little weird. But go ahead, Mr. Man.
Right. You're talking to Jairus. And my question, the context behind my question was that first of all, I stated that the mission you guys are on, I appreciate the mission you guys are on, because as far as the Bible and utilizing the Bible to do something that is conducive to the growth of, for lack of better words, black people, right? You guys are on point with it, right? However, my conversations with you brothers get deeper than the average individual, because I deal with things that deal with the soul and not the flesh.
Okay, respectfully, brother, you being super long-winded right now. I just want to know, they said that you asked the question about who wrote the Bible. So my question to you is, which book do you want to know who the author is?
Okay, well, first of all, I apologize because I thought we had time. You know, that's what he told the other individual who was talking, who was rambling and trying to get his point across. But anyways, my question was, who wrote any book of the Bible? We can start with the first 5.
Okay, so the first 5 are attributed, but it's not as if Moses penned them with his own hand, because are you familiar with a tradition of the scribe?
of a scribe, an orator?
Well, okay. A scribe isn't an orator. A scribe is somebody who actually copies down records and makes copies of them, right? So
Okay,
as a
and
result,
the orator. Okay, yeah, you're right. You're right.
So Moses would actually be like the orator, and then the scribe, which is working under him, would be cataloging these things. Now, there's certain things that were written, for example, like when Moses died, which is, you know what I'm saying, clearly Moses can't be dead and be orating his own death, which is just where they would take a chronology, and there were certain things that were left inside the record. You know what I'm saying? But the first 5 books of Moses, you understand, are attributed as far as to the time of Moses, and the vast majority of it being orated by what he dictated after he came down off the mountain.
Okay. All right. And if I was looking to research this information that you just provided, where would I go to get that information?
So the first thing that you'd have to do is, you know what I'm saying, you could just look up the history of scribes inside of the nation of Israel. And then you could also go into certain instances, like, for example, inside of, I'll just give you an example, Ezra, right? When you read the book of Ezra, you find out that Ezra was actually Jeremiah's scribe, which is why what Ezra was writing down was what came out of the mouth of the prophet Jeremiah. It literally says that within the first 5 verses of the book of Ezra. So Ezra was one of the scribes, you understand, who was rolling with Nehemiah during that time period. So this is a tradition that's not only recorded throughout history, you understand, but also inside of the scriptures we can see we have a tradition. But are you asking specifically where you can go and look up that the first 5 books are attributed to Moses?
The information that you use, because, I mean, I'm sure I can find Christian scholars who can point me to that information.
Well, I mean, you asking us. I don't know if you need to. I wouldn't trust a Christian scholar. But I'm saying what specifically. I'm not being combative with you. What I'm saying is I'm trying to make sure I give you the right information or point you in the right direction.
All right. So again, the context is, if I'm looking from scratch, if I'm trying to dissect your doctrine from scratch, right, which is what you would do with anybody's information that's coming to you saying, hey, this is truth, right? Then I have to start from the beginning. And wanting to start from the beginning, my question, I guess, I would ask is, where would you lead me to start from the beginning on first understanding who I'm dealing with, who are the Hebrews, where these people come from, and how do I tie myself to them outside of the scriptures, outside of the Bible, right?
Okay. That's a good question. So, okay, go ahead. You got more?
No, go ahead.
So, okay, one, the first thing I would do is I wouldn't send you to any other source to learn. You know what I'm saying? I would say get in class. You know what I'm saying? We have classes 7 days a week, you know what I'm saying, depending on what city you're in. Outside of that, like, if you want extra biblical things, there's archaeology, there's anthropolitical data, there's different historians throughout, you know what I'm saying, history, who have cataloged the movement of this people throughout different centuries. So it would kind of depend on not only the demographic, it would depend on the time period, and then it might even depend on who directly interacted with the Israelites who cataloged that history. As far as the Bible itself, the Bible is the history of the Israelites. Now, there's extra biblical sources, which is other nations who interacted with Israel or different artifacts that was left behind. So, you know what I'm saying, like, what you asked is kind of like a broad brush question, because, you know, we're talking about a couple of millennia of history. So, you know what I'm saying? So it's not like I could just say, go right here and look at this. That would just be one piece of evidence in a broad spectrum of history. You get me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, most definitely. Okay. All right, well, I appreciate you answering that, man, respectfully. Another question, I guess, why I got you on the line, because I do understand you one of the most learned brothers in your camp.
Oh, I appreciate that.
So I appreciate God for aligning it to, you know, get me to have you on the line. My next question, that I've dealt with over time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Over time of myself studying and diving into the scriptures. And like I told one of my brothers, who's part of he's part of y'all's camp. I never attached myself to a group because of these questions that just haven't been answered, And one of them, we deal with the symbolism, right? The allegories in the scripture. When it comes to things like Esau and Jacob, you guys hold that to be literal truth, right? While it can be suggested, right, that that's more figurative. And if we look at it from a figurative perspective, it makes the scriptures and the whole mission of the Messiah make more sense. And it also makes science with these individuals. I'm not going to put no other title on them, but there are certain individuals who don't believe in God, right? So they believe in fact and theory, right? So they create theories and they conjure theories and they perform experiments to test their theories, right? And we know that to be science, right? So even science, right, proves the figurative teachings of the Bible. So it confuses me to why brothers like yourself who are so learned in the scriptures hold on to literalism instead of spiritualism.
So what happens is, right, that's another broad question. But with what you're saying, there are things that are allegorical, that, you know what I'm saying, there are things which are represented, you know what I'm saying, by different metaphors and figuratively speaking that are spiritual, and there are things that are literal. There are also things that are manifold, that have not only a figurative meaning, you understand, if you were to look deeper at it, but also at face value. You know what I'm saying? For example, the serpent in the garden. The serpent in the garden was a man. You know what I'm saying? Adam and Eve was not, you understand, just the first people on earth. He didn't literally take a rib and make her. You know what I'm saying? Like, these are all allegorical stories that are telling of our history. So it just depends on what you're speaking of directly. Now, when it comes down to Jacob and Esau, there's something that's figurative from it, because there was symbolism as far as Esau being the last nation that would rule the planet. You understand, the so-called white man. You understand, before our nation. So we know we're in the last days because he's ruling. You know what I'm saying? The hand grabbing the heel has not only prophetic nature, has not only allegorical nature, but also has a literal nature from the story. All of it wraps up and intertwines together. And, you know what I'm saying, we know that Esau was not only a genuine nation, just from the fact that Idumea is a popular name of the Romans, but even from, you understand, other historical documents and artifacts, all pointing towards Esau being right at Mount Seir, where the Bible said they would be. So if the Bible is predicting 6,000 years, you know what I'm saying, worth of not only prophecy and future, but then the deeper that we dig and the more archaeology we find, you know what I'm saying, like, you know, they didn't think the Moabites existed until they found the Moabite stone. You know what I'm saying? Then why would I then argue with it when it comes down to Jacob and Esau, who they are, and them being patriarchs for two separate nations? It wouldn't make sense for me. But I might have certain information that you're not privy to. But to answer your question directly, there are some things that are allegorical and some things that are literal. And if you want to know our stance, again, you could come to class and just ask, and then we'll tell you the difference between the two, just like I did now.
Okay, all right. Well, I appreciate that, man. I appreciate the information you provided, man. Last question. Hardest question you might consider the easy one. Where is Yeshua right now?
So we would call him Yahushua, right? But the scripture says that the scripture says that he's seated on the right hand of the Father. So what people call, you know what I'm saying, like the fourth heaven or the realm or dimension where the Most High dwells, we call the fourth dimension. You understand? So in our slang, we would either say that he's in the fourth dimension, or we would say that he's with the Father currently, as far as directly what the scriptures say.
Okay. And is that physically or spiritually?
Well, it's spiritually and physically, because it says he was taken up physically, and when he returns, he's going to return physically. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, there's even the angels are able to, you know what I'm saying, manifest spiritually and physically. That's why you got angels that appear in visions, and you got angels that come down and even ate with Abraham. So you can't, you know, limit the.
Yeah. So for clarity, when you say he was taken up, you hold that to mean that after he has, you know, completed the mission of showing himself to those he chose, you know, and showing, you know, his flesh, and showing him, hey, you know, I did raise this temple like promised. You're saying he was physically taken up?
So yes, he was physically taken up in a cloud. You can go in the scriptures and see where clouds is also representative as the Lord's chariots. Much like Elijah went up in a chariot in a whirlwind, in one of those wheels within a wheel. You know what I'm saying? That was the cloud in which came, and it says that, you know what I'm saying, he went up on, which you could read about inside of the New Testament.
Okay, now if you got time, because this is where my brain go to swirling. Okay, if I was to take that and put that into present day, right? Because there's nothing stopping it from happening present day, right? I just want to be clear. There's
nothing stopping what?
That power of God to take an individual via cloud.
Okay, yeah, there was nothing stopping it in the time of Elijah. There's nothing stopping it now. That's all at the Lord's will and discretion.
Right. All right. So now, if I was to take that and look at that literally, all right, understanding the human composition, right, understanding what I do know that science have proven, how would that look present day? Would that be an individual flying, defying gravity? And forgive me if I sound foolish. Like, this is something that today we are taught things like, you know, flying and all this supernatural stuff is impossible, right? So if I'm looking at this and I'm trying to understand this, what you're telling me, the information you're providing me right now, and I'm trying to understand this with my human mind, you're telling me an individual who is human was caught up in a cloud, and we know, based off science, the further you go up in the sky, the harder it is to breathe as a human. So can you help me understand, was he given an apparatus, or how did that transpire for him to get, if I'm imagining correctly, the fourth heaven would be miles, thousands and thousands of millions, maybe millions of miles farther past the sun. So how would he get there in his human, because he left as a human, right? Or did?
Yeah. Go ahead. I'm trying to let you finish. Go ahead.
Yeah. So did? Yeah. I think my question is complete. I'm just trying to get you the understanding of what's going on in my head to try to picture this literalism that the literalism of the story that you're providing.
So
kind of
as far
in literal realm.
So as far as the literalism, okay, one thing I don't do is philosophize or add. It doesn't necessarily say how he went up. If this was something that was, you know, anti-gravitational, you know what I'm saying, if the cloud came down or the chariot and picked him up, or if you understand it was something as, you know what I'm saying, he was able to rise, you know what I'm saying? So it just says that he went up into the cloud, you know what I'm saying? And based off of precepts, I understand that clouds can sometimes be chariots, you know what I'm saying, which is why this one is directly associated, being a metaphor, a cloud, for a chariot, one of the wheels within a wheel. Now, as far as science is concerned, you know what I'm saying, like, science does not have everything figured out. You know what I'm saying? Like, however many couple of 100 years ago, they didn't have an entire electric grid. They didn't have fiber optics. They didn't have, you know what I'm saying, a plethora of scientific inventions. So I'm not going to allow the limited science that we have to limit, you understand, the power of God who can create a planet when the white man in his science, and or any nation for that matter, can't create a planet. They don't know how the inner workings and inner sanctums of every little thing that moves, although they try to, and they try to catalog it, and they'd love to play God to the best of their ability. So when it comes down to certain things, like, for example, when I describe to you a chariot or a vehicle of the angels, there is no scientific roadmap or direct instruction as to how these move. What there is how they move when it talks about how they appear in a flash of lightning, you know what I'm saying, and zip in and zip out, which lets me know that they're moving faster and beyond anything that you could directly comprehend. And we're also not talking about something that's completely physical. We're also talking about something that's interdimensional, if I had to translate it. You know what I'm saying? So we're talking about a level of science or knowledge that this world has not directly tapped into or been directly privy to even be able to answer that directly. You know what I'm saying? So at that point, it's either you accept that it says he went up in the cloud, or you don't. You know what I'm saying? Now, me, this is how I rationalize it, just so you know, right? The deeper I dig, the more history I find that lines up directly with the scriptures, from, you know, something major like, you know what I'm saying, the black obelisk from Salmanessa over in Assyria, to something minute, to that if you were to go and look at how much an actual servant would have been sold for when Joseph was sold, that was actually the going rate during that time period. You know what I'm saying? When you look at certain things from the story of Jonah, the entire landscape as how he described Babylon was exactly what's, or rather Nineveh, you know what I'm saying, which was the capital of Nineveh and Babylon at that time, is literally demographically and geographically completely accurate to what he describes inside that story, on top of the prophecies that I spoke of earlier that come down, you know what I'm saying, for the past 6,000 years. So for me, I'm going to trust it and believe it, you understand, which some of that in part is faith, but that's only because of how much more I've seen proven inside the scriptures. Now, you might not be there yet, and that's fair. You know what I'm saying? But based off of my walk and where I am, I have no reason to doubt it. And at the same time, if I could believe that, you understand, the Lord could raise somebody from the dead and or split the Red Sea, I don't have a problem if a nigga floating in the air. you get what I'm saying?
Right. For sure. Yeah, that makes sense, man. It's just little things like that, you know. Growing up Christian, man, dealing with a lot of Christian thinkers, it's just hard to get a lot of these questions answered. You know, I mean, the main go-to is, if you don't have the Spirit of God, you know, then you can't understand it. And in my opinion, that's a way to, you know, to basically tell a person, I don't know, and I can't tell you, you know. But if you're a studious person like myself, you know what I'm saying, you're digging into it, especially if it's claiming to hold the salvation of your life. But, you know, since you're answering these questions fluently, do you mind if I continue?
Let me just ask the brothers, do we have any other callers or anyone else on the line?
We do not right now, sir.
All right, so since we don't, I'll take another question from you, brother. And I think you know what I'm saying, you've been very, very cordial and showed excellent decorum. So, you know what I'm saying, we can wrap.
Oh, most definitely, man. I appreciate it.
If I could, real quick though, I encourage the people saying that Karmelo's going to jail. I encourage y'all to call in.
Karmelo's going to jail. All right. Oh, you know, that's a good you know, point. I mean, not point, but a good subject to bring up. Because that kind of ties into my next question. Does the Hebrew Israelite camp, right? Does the doctrine that you teach, does it forbid your men from impregnating European women?
And there's a reason I asked that question. But I'll get to that reason after you answer that
I got
first
you.
question.
So just I'll take it off them directly. Interracial marriage is a sin. You know what I'm saying? We're not supposed to mix regardless. Now, has it happened? It has. And we go by what the scripture says, when you are the seed of your father. So you're the seed that the father plants is what determines your nation. That's how you determine your nation and your tribe. So are there brothers, you understand, hell, sometimes sisters who didn't know the truth and didn't know anything about our nation, who went and dealt with someone from another nation and got pregnant or got someone pregnant? Yes. But as far as if we stuck to the script and obeyed what the Lord said, we are not supposed to intermix with anyone, Asians, Arabs, Africans, whoever.
Okay. And again, this is where the literalism, where the when applying literalism kick in and my brain go to swiveling, right? All right, so I hear you, and that makes total sense. And from a common sense perspective, you know, God don't want His people mingling with no other people, right? Learning their ways, right? Becoming one of them. That's totally understandable. But you said something. You mentioned that according to the scriptures that we are what our Father is, right? If our fathers, if we are Hebrew Israelites and we impregnate, and this is where science come in, right? We impregnate, and science backs this up, right? If we impregnate the European, the other nations, as men, not the women, as men, we impregnate their women and prevent them from procreating, the men, then their race, their nations would be wiped out like within 100 years based on that scientific fact. So why wouldn't that be a movement? Just out of curiosity, if getting rid of Edom is the thing, right? And we're obviously not going to war and throwing slugs with the Edomites, because that's not happening. And I say that's not happening because it's not currently going down. But what I mean, wouldn't a more subtle, if this doctrine is what is taught to be, wouldn't that be a more subtle way of basically conquering the Edomites?
So we have instructions, right? The most simplistic and probably the most important is because thus saith the Lord. So thus what the Lord thus said was for us to not mix. You know what I'm saying? We could try to rationalize things and say maybe that's a strategy in order to fight and combat them, but that's not what He told us our blueprint was in order to fight. You know what I'm saying? One of the main things right now that He said was the weapons of our warfare is not carnal. You understand? Going around and just sleeping with random white women and having as many kids as we can is carnal, right? And He says, but rather spiritual. And it's a very spiritual thing, you understand, when a man decides to leave his race, and it's a very spiritual thing on the right hand when a man decides to be strong enough, you understand, to be a lion and conquer his woman, because black women are lionesses. And you know, so often...
Nah, hey, man, listen, I 100% agree. You know, I believe my personal take on it is that the woman represents the problem, right? And the man represents the solution, right? And the harder the problem, the I guess more skilled and equipped the solver have to be to conquer that problem. So, you know, I'm 100% with you.
Well, this is what I think. I think the white man's the problem. You know what I'm saying? Like, that to me is the direct problem. And what I think that black men coming back to their identity, regaining a moral compass, right, and taking control of the house is definitely a solution. He needs to be in order to get in order with the black woman, but we need each other. You know what I'm saying? We need each other, and we need strong family units. And hold on, just give me a second. And we need to stop allowing this nation to divide us and dictate what relationships are. You get what I'm saying? So we are supposed to lead. You understand? And the problem is that the white man removed us and left black women to their own devices. The problem is that black women lost their protection when they weakened our men. The problem, like what you're talking about, is the symptoms. You get what I'm saying? Even if you want to consider, you understand, the miseducation of the black woman a problem, it's a symptom. You understand? And it's a symptom of a greater disease, and that greater disease is so-called white supremacy. That greater disease, you understand, is being conquered. That greater disease is losing our identity and heritage, and all of those were byproducts of the oppression that they put on us. So in order for us, you understand, to be able to combat that, we have to come back to who we are as a people. And we'll never be able to do that. Like, how you going to go get a white woman, think we going to rebuild, you understand, the black land, and then you still got to work for a white man, and then you come home after he calls you a nigger, and then you going to explain that to Becky with the so-called good hair and think she understands your plight? That shit don't make no goddamn sense. We need each other, and we need to forgive each other, have compassion on each other, and serve the Lord together. That's what we need to do.
Yeah, all right, two things in everything you said, right? One, when I said that, let me clarify, when I said that the black woman is a problem, I don't mean a problem as in something. There are different types of problems, and the type of problem that we have been dealing with the Caucasian is a different type of problem that men naturally deal with women. This is a masculine feminine thing that I was speaking towards, more so that the woman represents the feminine principle and the man represents the masculine principle, and these things often war with each other until balance is found. That's what I meant when I said that, in my thing, the white man doesn't exist and shouldn't exist, in a sense to where yes, we have, our ancestors have allowed ourselves to be brought to this state that we're in, and attacking that issue is different from attacking, or I ain't gonna say different, but it's a different facet of a man's problems in totality. But to get to what I was really trying to get an understanding on, if we hold on to the understanding that the white man is this or the white man is that, when we give the white man an identity like we are the white man, then psychologically we're creating something that's outside of ourselves. And if we are the children of God, that means we are all in all, because we are God. God is in us, and God is in everything, right? So if that's the case, there's nothing in creation, nothing. You can't even think of something that's in creation that's outside of what God created, because how can the creation think of anything that hasn't been created already? Right? You are not the creator. There's nothing you can create outside of God unless God gives you the authority to create. And if God gives you the authority to create, then any creation you get is already in creation. An example of that, if I have the thought to build Tesla before Tesla was in existence, I'm just a vessel, right? That thought doesn't belong to me, right? So the concept of Tesla is already in existence, so that can be passed on to any human. So when we understand life from that perspective, then we take the vessel that comes in many shades of color, white, black, green, purple, right? When we give the vessel an identity, then what we're doing is we're putting the vessel on a pedestal, right? So every lens, whether we try to, and this is how tricky the flesh is, because everything we look at, we tend to look at it from a fleshly perspective and not a spiritual perspective. And if we look at things from a more spiritual perspective, then we take out identifying the flesh, right? We take out giving an identity to the flesh. And if we do give an identity to the flesh, then it's based on the spirit that flesh embodies, right? So if we live by that principle, by judging the flesh, not by what my physical eyes see, but what my spirit relates to, then the talk about Jacob and Esau being white and black people, because that's a concoction of American history, and I ain't even gonna just say American or U.S. history, but that's a concoction of a racial agenda, you know. And the reason,
shout out to Captain Desari.
the reason that concoction was created, right? And by no
I'm just gonna need you.
condoning-
I'm gonna need you to wrap that up though a little bit, brother.
I got
You know
you.
what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I need you to
All right,
just
and
make this distinct.
Oh, all right, I got you. By no means am I condoning interracial relationships, but my point in saying what I'm saying is, if we look at the scriptures and when the Bible talks about different nations, wouldn't it be more understandable, or Christ's mission be more understandable if we looked at it from a more spiritual perspective? When he say all nations, because we know Israel is one nation. Israel is not multiple nations. So if we're looking at Israel as one nation, then wouldn't it be more understandable to understand that all nations, meaning people who come from different cultures and languages, can be under one umbrella if they all had the same merit and mentality?
Okay, so I'm gonna go on reverse, and then I'm gonna tell you something. You know what I'm saying? That's extremely serious, brother. Number one, we're not dealing with no other nations over here, right? Listen, if you want to fuck white women, you, excuse my language, you can go to a group called GMS. You get what I'm saying? You want to deal with African women, go to IUIC. You get what I'm saying? If you want to get pegged in your ass by your woman, you can go to Sakari. That's where you can go. They like getting bent over. That's what they do. It's a fact. That's what they chief priests do. You know what I'm saying? He getting popped in his ass. All right. Now this is what I'm going to tell you. We got a completely different agenda.
You're saying in general,
and
right?
Hold on, brother. I just let you. I'm speaking. No, I'm speaking in general. But you know what I'm saying. But
Okay.
I just let you go on a diatribe.
I'm asking a general question because I don't.
No, I got you. But I got you,
melanated
brother.
women.
Hey, brother, you were just extremely long-winded. All right, so I'm going to need you to give me the space
I
to
can
respond, right? Now, yes, you can. And now this is what I'm going to tell you directly, though. This is what the following message is for you directly. Brother, you have too many luxuries that I and us as a people cannot afford. You are too philosophical and rely too much on philosophy and impracticality. You understand? For certain things that we can't afford. I don't have, and I'll give you just two examples, and I'm going to tie all this together. I don't turn around and have conversations about flat Earth. You understand? When my people are still on fentanyl. You understand? Like I look at what keeps a family together, what gets somebody off drugs. I don't sit down and have philosophical discussions about what we can do and looking at this and science says and because God told me what to do. He told me precisely what to do, and us not listening to him is why we're so jacked up in the first place. You understand? Like, you know who could have these discussions? White people. White people could turn around and have all these discussions because they conquered us. So as a result, they could say, let's go to the moon. They could have Elon Musk, because he comes from the people who won, could say, I want to build a robot. Could say, I want to build an electrical car. He could have all those spiritual thoughts you're talking about because his people aren't on crack in 2025 at the rate that we are because Baltimore's a third world country. You understand? Because we got sisters having postpartum depression and throwing out their babies out the window in the Bronx off the third floor. You understand? Because of how many broken families we got. So when we actually get our shit together, brother, I would love to have a philosophical conversation with you. I would love to if I could finish, brother.
Everything you said just now, big brother. Gender's a question. how long have we been off our shit according to your belief in history?
Before we even go there, though, I'm gonna land my plane before we go there and interject with another question, right?
Okay.
So as a result, you understand, from all the things collectively that I spoke about as to where we are as a people, we ain't got time for none of that. You understand? So as a result, you know what we got to do? We got to get back to the basics. We got to get back to the fundamentals. You understand? We cannot afford the luxuries that you're speaking about, but this is what we can afford. We can afford the truth of God. We could afford the laws, statutes, and commandments that the Lord gave us that will prevent us, and it will lower and eliminate black on black crime. It will increase the growth and the family structure. You understand? And it will also help us economically when we decide to deal with each other before we deal with another race. And you know what else it'll do? It'll stop people from coming in, invading, and destroying us when we stick to ourselves. We can't do the things that you're talking about. Why? Thus saith the Lord. That is simple, and that's something we could afford. Philosophy, we got to take that shit somewhere else.
All right. You need me to repeat the next question?
Say that again?
You need me to repeat the next question?
Just before you do, I do need it repeated. Do we have anybody else on the line? I heard a beep before. Aisha?
They probably went to sleep, man. They got work in the morning.
Nah. They live and cooking. I don't know what happened, but go ahead. I'm gonna give you one more question, man, before we wrap this up.
I bet. How long have, if I'm attaching myself to the Hebrew Israelite genealogy, how long have we as a people been off our shit?
Oh man, brother. You understand?
When have we ever been on our shit? Like, when have we ever been like, yeah, life is good? When was that the last time?
Jesus Christ, when Solomon was ruling.
So approximately how long ago that was?
I would say approximately 2,700 years ago.
That's a long time.
That is a long time. We've been messing up a long time, and you know why? We want to philosophize. We want to do everything but what God said. That's why. Because we want to sleep with white women. That's why. Because we want to get high. Because we want to rob each other. Because we want to do everything but what we're supposed to do. You know what I'm saying?
White women they had in existence back then, man.
What you mean?
2,700 years ago, they had white women in our camp.
No, that's not so. I wouldn't necessarily say. I mean, well, that's why Solomon lost the kingdom. You know what I'm saying? Solomon lost the kingdom sleeping with Asians, white women, all that. Now, they had a different name at that time, you know what I'm saying, from a biblical paradigm. You know what I'm saying? But, yeah, they were around.
Sir, can you hear me now?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Now, as far as, like, from an empire standpoint, you know what I'm saying, their first empire wasn't until, you know what I'm saying, the Macedonians and really the Greeks was their empire, as far as when they started rising as a direct nation. You got little pockets of them, you know what I'm saying, popping up in certain areas in their travels until, you know what I'm saying, eventually they took this shit over. But they took this shit over not because they're smarter than us, not because they're better than us, as a punishment from God, Ak. Like, the white man has been the Lord's beating stick for us, because it's like, he's like, oh, you want to sleep with their women? You want to worship their gods? You want to follow them? Let me show you what it's like when they rule over you instead of us. You understand? And as a result, we have been getting our ass whooped, you understand, for the last 2,000 years.
And that's the reason it becomes, and we got on the subject about white women, and I want to reiterate, me bringing that up did not mean I condone those relationships. But it's like, okay, if our problem is the fact that we don't want to listen to God, right? That been the problem since the beginning of time, millions of years ago, right? I just, you know what I'm saying? It's just hard for me to put that into perspective if I'm trying to understand it from a biblical perspective. If
Captain, can you hear me, sir?
Disobedience was our problem since Adam, What is the meaning?
Yeah, you can hear me now?
I can hear you. You can hear Aisha?
I can't hear Aisha. I can hear you, though.
Oh, he might got to call in. You can't hear that. I'm on the phone, too. I'm down in the number, so that's probably why you can hear me.
Yeah, I was trying to ask him if there was somebody else on the line. I couldn't hear him, but I'm gonna take this brother's last question, and if we got other callers, we'll go there. But brother, what's your last question?
Nah, if you had other questions, man, I held up a lot of your time, brother, and I appreciate every minute you was able to spare for me.
I got you. Well, you know what I'm saying? Do we got anybody else on the line, Godaiwan?
Yes,
I think we do. Let me see if Aisha can hear me. Hey, Aisha, can you hear me?
Hey,
Aisha. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. It seems like y'all can't hear me.
Yeah, because I'm down in the numbers. So you got any more callers on the line?
Yeah, we do have one caller on the line.
All right, can you bring him up if you could? All right, Cap, we got another call on the line.
You could bring the other call in. Brother, I appreciate the call, man. I would say get in class, man, and bring your questions.
Man, most definitely. Peace and blessings, man. Peace and blessings to you, brother.
All right, peace and blessings to you too, Ak.
Hey, 314, you on the We got 314 on the line.
Yeah, Shalom. Who's this?
314 on the line.
Shalom. My name's Devin.
What's going on, Devin? Where you calling from?
St. Louis, Missouri.
St. Louis, Missouri, man. You got a question or comment?
A question. I want to know the scriptures for because I heard a lot of people saying Joseph was Jesus' father.
That's correct.
And I want to know the scriptures or hear the scriptures on that because I was taught otherwise.
I got you. We were all taught otherwise, and we were all lied to. All right. So the first thing that, you know what I'm saying, I need to explain to you to prove that Christ is the physical father. Joseph is the physical father of Christ. You know what I'm saying, that the Holy Spirit did not artificially inseminate Mary or whatever the hell the Catholic Church and everybody else wants to say is. I just want to see if me and you stand on equal ground with this. You believe that every prophecy in the Bible and every promise that God made is going to come true and not fail?
Yes.
I believe. Well, let me tell you something, brother. I believe the same thing. All right.
Yeah.
That's actually exactly what I believe. And as a result, are you aware that there was a promise and a prophecy that was given to David?
Given to David, yeah. There's bloodline through his seed.
Right.
Christ will come. Yeah.
Absolutely. So let's just look at this, right? Because this is mentioned in the Old Testament, but I'm going to first read where it says it in the New Testament, because the New Testament confirmed this. So in Acts, the 2nd chapter, right? And this is, I'm going to start at verse 29. It says, "Men and brethren, let me freely speak unto you of the patriarch David, that he is both dead and buried, and his sepulchre is with us unto this day," meaning the day that this was written, they knew where David was buried. So we agree we're talking about David, right?
Yep.
So now verse 30. "Therefore, being a prophet, and knowing that God had sworn with an oath to him that the fruit of his loins, we agree that, you understand, this is his reproductive. This is what comes out of him, correct?
Yeah, his children. Yep.
According to the flesh. Now, we're not talking about nothing spiritual. We're talking about something literal, something carnal, right? So the fruit of his loins according to the flesh, right?
Yep.
He would raise up Christ to sit on his throne. This is what we have to come to grips with. If Christ did not come from the seed, the physical seed and loins of David, he could not be the Messiah. He would not fulfill this oath sworn to David. Do we agree?
Yes.
So now that we know that, who was of the house of David, Joseph or Mary?
I thought both of them was.
No, sir. That's not true. So Joseph was of the house of David. Mary's lineage is not contained inside the Bible. Only Joseph's is.
Oh, you don't. Okay, so you all don't read the lost books.
No, so the lost books are not, you understand, are not valid and not a part of, you understand, our canon. You understand? But when we read the Bible, when we read the New Testament, when we read Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, it is evidently clear that Joseph is of the house of David, and Christ was made of the seed, you understand, of David. So I'm going to give you another scripture, and then I'm going to try to tie this together. Romans 1:3 says, concerning his son, Jesus Christ, our Lord, which was made of the seed of David according to the flesh. What is the seed of a man?
Your sperm.
The sperm, right? Who has sperm, Joseph or Mary?
Well, the off, we going to be off because we don't believe, I believe in the lost books, because I don't believe that just because people say that they're not our book, don't mean that it's not, because it lines up with a lot of the scriptures as well. So I believe the lost books says that Mary herself came from Joseph's seed, and Ruth, the Moabitess, was also part of their bloodline.
Okay,
it says
Ruth
in the lost books.
It says Ruth is in the bloodline because it says it inside of Matthew's. That's where it says it, and it says that, but it says that for Joseph. But here's something else, though. Like this is something extremely important that we cannot omit. All right, that the prophecy didn't have to do with Ruth. The prophecy had to do with David. It said it had to come from this. It had to come from the seed of David, and from his loins is where this would come up. And it says Christ was made of the seed of David. Do you know what that word is when we look at that word seed inside Romans 1:3?
Semen, sperm.
It's sperma. So it says he's made of the sperm of David. You understand? Well, who has sperm, man or woman?
The man. But if the woman is from his household, she also comes from his sperm. So that would mean that he was also still made from the sperm because of her being his daughter.
But it's saying according to his flesh, and it has to come from his loins. And this is why these lost books need to just get lost, because they be crowding up people's minds. Go ahead. I couldn't hear you because you were talking over me. Go ahead.
David was dead at the time, so it didn't come from his loins. It came from one of his descendants' loins. So that was a spiritual quote. So it still could have been Mary. But we won't see eye to eye because you don't believe in the lost books, and it's no disrespect or anything. But I don't want to go off into a debate because I'm not supposed to be debating. So.
Oh, okay. Well, the thing is, me and you disagree. So this would be a quote-unquote debate if we get deeper into the conversation. So since me and you have two different positions, then we can't continue the conversation. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know what I'm saying, I could continue on and show you this narrative because here's something else too.
Yeah.
Where's the prophecy in the Old Testament? Now, if you can answer this, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if this is going to be a debate for you. Where is the prophecy in the Old Testament that there would be a childless father born?
It doesn't say that. No way.
I mean, excuse me, a fatherless child born. I'm sorry.
It doesn't technically say that it's a fatherless child.
So what I'm saying is, prophecies
have to have a father.
But what I'm saying is, where's the prophecy that he would only be born of a woman in the Old Testament? Like Christ was written of in the past, correct? You got a little bit of extra noise in that background.
Yeah, kid. All right, I'm listening to you.
But my question to you is, where's the prophecy that the Messiah would only be born of a woman?
It's not in the Bible. It don't say that. It just says in Matthew's about how she wasn't knew by no man. That's the only part that I can give you off the top of my head.
So, but when we read inside, it says that in Luke, and Luke is a different account. Luke. You're right, but what I'm saying is, Luke is Mary's account, right? And that's before it happened. Matthew is Joseph's account. You understand? When they had sex. That's the difference between the two. And both of those bloodlines, both in Matthew's and in Luke, are both Joseph's. And they go from man to man to man to man to man to man to man, begot, 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 until we get to his son. So why are we just removing the man once we get to Christ? Because of indoctrination. That's why. Because without somebody telling you that, you would never see that in a million years. Now, there is a prophecy that from the seed of David, Christ would have to be born. And it's all throughout the New Testament that Joseph is of the house of David. So the only thing we could say is we're adding to the scriptures that baby is only Mary's.
The only reason why, another reason why I say that, because in the account of Joseph, it says the husband to Mary, and usually it say the name, like it say Abraham begot Isaac, or Isaac begot Jacob and Esau, but it didn't give that for Joseph. It says the husband of Mary at the end.
Yeah, it says the husband of Mary because they were married, and sex is what consummates a marriage.
That's true. Definitely consummates marriage.
So this is why it's her husband, because they had sex and consummated.
Right. But I didn't get the part why I don't say begot on there when it says begot for everything else.
It does say begot. Do you know okay, so do you know that the phrase the son of and begot is the literal same word, not only in the Greek, but the definition of begot is the son of?
Yeah.
So it does say begot because it says he's the son of.
It say the son of Joseph. Okay.
And that word son of, if you go back in the Greek, is the literal word it used for begot the 27 other times above in the same chapter.
Say that one more time. The last part.
You know how you said you read the word begot, 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 begot?
Yeah.
When you read the phrase the son of, if we go back to the Greek, it's the same exact word they were using for beget. The reason as to why it says by the son of is because we arrive now at who we're talking about. So it's giving you the context as to where we are. But begot and the son of is the same exact thing. So it does say begot when it says he was the son of. It's the same word, and that's literally the definition of the word.
Right. So yeah, they gave me a little better insight. It definitely gave me a better insight.
Well, I'm glad it gave you some better insight. Maybe, you know what I'm saying, we could talk another time when your background ain't so loud, and you know what I'm saying, when you go back and look up some of the stuff that I told you, all right?
All right.
All right, so with that, listen, I'm gonna pass the show back over to Gadaiwan and Ashaya Allah. I appreciate y'all for, you know what I'm saying, holding the show down, you understand, in our absence. And it's 12 o'clock anyway. We finna wrap up. But Yeshua Barak Thumb, to my brothers, Yahweh Shema Thabah Shem Yahweh Shada, my sisters, y'all got it from here, Akim.
Yahweh Shem Yahweh Barak, sir, and we appreciate you. And that's a brother that I learned from every time I'm around. These are the men that we learn from in the ISUBK. And y'all can keep calling in and trying it, and either you're going to learn something like these last couple of callers learned, you're going to fail like the first caller failed. It's either one or the other. How you feeling over there?
Can you hear me online? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine.
All right, yeah. I think the sound thing we're calling online, I just have to call on my phone, like the reverb and everything situated at first. So I'm glad we got that situated. So
yeah, that's just a restream issue.
A restream, all right, that's right.
It is what it is. It's just I was hoping that some of these clowns in the comments would call in. There's somebody in there.
So the first people online, that was people who joined the stream. How that work? The first people joined the stream, and the other people just calling in.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, good.
Click the link, then they can come in with with their video, or come in and just some audio, but in the stream. If they call the phone lines, then then we have that other issue. But I don't think there's anybody left tonight.
Is nobody left? Is this the same? Is this the same link all the time? I got people that's in my DM in my inbox on Instagram who be trying to have a place to debate. Usually, I do on my own server and everything. So, but they be having a place to debate. So this is the same link. I could just send them the link too. Make sure we get some more people to come up in here.
No, it's not. What you can tell them is to subscribe to the channel. Every week there's a new link. It's a fresh link for every new stream that we create. So just subscribe to the channel every Thursday night, 10 o'clock. We'll have the link in the chat. They can click the link and come on and test their knowledge or learn something. You're either going to fail or you're going to learn something. It's one or the other. Somebody said they've been asking for the link. The link has been in the chat the whole time. It's midnight now. You're gonna have to wait.
That nigga, he probably crazy. His name is the Most High. He crazy.
Yeah, that's a bug out.
Oh, good night.
That's gonna be a certified bug out. But Captain Tazariak and Captain Katazal will be back next week. Everybody out there, follow Brooklyn Israelites on Twitter, ISUBK Brooklyn on YouTube. Shout out your channels.
On my channels, you can subscribe to my channel first. Anything ICBK, any city, we everywhere. ICBK, anything. Just come up with a city, put ICBK in front of it, and subscribe to any of that channel. Of course, on Instagram, I'm just Priest Gadiwan, where I have most of my clips from my debates. And my channel, UPK Sons of Thunder, with me and also Dabuan, we have our live debates all the time. We try to probably debate at least once a day at least. Who knows? We might just after this, it might debate again, find some more people to kill. So y'all just subscribe to that to get live debates on that. So that's it.
Most High in Christ. On that note, we're gonna close it out. Any last words, sir?
That's it. I'm good on my end.
All right, we'll see y'all next week. Lord willing, Captain Tazariak and Captain Katazal will be back. Bring all the